Hi, hello. And today I am translating from my studio and talking about erotic photography for men. Erotic photography for men, usually you would call this DUDOIR. Okay, it's a type of boudoir photography for men. But in erotic studio, men would like to have a range of photography. Okay, range of photography. They would like to try everything. Okay, portraits, semi-nude, nudes, explicit, okay, even cum shots. Men, when they do erotic photography, they want to experiment. Okay, and today this video is going to be erotic photography for men, and I would discuss a little bit more about it. Okay, so first I would want to say that I have three categories of men defined for erotic photo shoot. Okay, so the first category of men which I really love to work with are the men who would like to do it for their experience, for their knowledge, for their pleasure. They look good, they feel good or okay, right? And they are on a positive energy. Okay, when they are going to do an erotic photo shoot, usually men would say, "Oh, this is something what I really wanted to try." Or they are aging, or they have a bucket list and they said that they have erotic photo shoot for a bucket list. There are different kind of reasons for erotic photo shoot for men, but most of the time, yes, they would also want to remember themselves hot and sexy, right? Not only women need an erotic photo shoot, men also want an erotic photo shoot, okay? And they also want to boost their sexuality levels. They also want to boost their confidence. They also want to see the angles, okay, and the shots, and see themselves, in a pristine, good looking, hot, sexy man. So I am there to advise them and to help them. Okay, starting from, I don't know, from everything, styling and dressing them. I'm helping, right? We are creating sexy photo shoots, so I absolutely help them, right? There are a lot of men who has a very good taste, okay, and there are some who don't. you know and I can see that the stuff that they bring, I have better, better shirt or a better jacket in the studio, okay. Sometimes they even forgot the belt, okay, to come to the studio. I mean, seriously, when they're doing a sexy shoot, they need to bring an underwear, okay, few pairs at least, right? But even then, I have in the studio. If they forget to bring the underwear, they can borrow, right? So jokes aside, talking about erotic photo shoot for men, right? Erotic photo shoot for men, and why men doing it, okay? So, like I say, I have three categories, and I will discuss here about men photo shoots in three categories. So the first one is masculine men. Okay, the first category is the normal man who wants to see himself in a maybe different light. Okay, he feels good, and he knows that the pictures will be great. Okay, right? He will put the effort. Julia will do her magic. He trusts the photographer, right? There is how to say, positive attitude to go, to try, to change, to do stuff. They put the work in. Okay, there is a positive attitude, and always a good results. Okay, this is a normal man. We are practicing different kind of things. Okay, we're practicing in gentle look and brutal look and sexy look and whatever look we're practicing. They are up for it. Okay, they're up for it, and that's like I say, a standard good photo shoot, right? What happens during that photo shoot? There are men who would like a limited service, okay, and that means to try boudoir photography or sexy photo shoot and maybe nude, okay, nude shots, right? There is the next step, and the next level is an explicit erection shots, okay, close up, right? This is a higher stage, right, of erotic photo shoot. Not every studio will do it. And the maximum what I can offer is, of course, cum shots. That's something special that not many places you can find, okay? But this is something what I do as well, right? But not every man would like to do it, for a reason that they are not sure about their performance. Okay, 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 Okay, they're not sure about the performance. That's the only reason. Everyone would want, probably, if they, if they could to show something extraordinary, something amazing. But not everyone goes. It's related with our programming as well. Okay, it's related with that, and I'm coming towards that. So the first category, it's absolutely normal men. As a woman, they would want to see themselves hot and sexy and be wanted by their partners, and partners very often encourage to do it, and they would say, okay, I'm doing it for my girlfriend, for my wife, or something. So yeah, this is absolutely normal to me to shoot a man. Okay, the second category I want to discuss is the man who doing it for business. Okay, so the first one is doing for self-development, for confidence, for growth, for how to say, to have sexy shots, something to remember. The second man would do it for work, for business. Okay, and doing it for business, for work, it means that going into modeling. Okay, becoming a model or being adult model or online model and even an escort. Okay, and becoming an escort, it's a totally different requirement. Okay, it's a different requirement because we want to sell the pictures. That's the only reason why we're doing it. Okay, so all things aside, we are shooting what the woman like to see. Okay, the way the woman like to see, and I am competing with the other photographers in that spectrum. Okay, so the person who would like to do an erotic escort photo shoot is automatically a confident person, right? Because they're working in adult business. Okay, they're selling their body, they already know this, right? And it is quite easy work with people who are in adult business because they're easy to undress, they're easy for display, they're easy for show. Okay, there are options when people are doing it first time. Okay, first time photo shoot, and majority men would do it first time erotic photo shoot. Erotica did not arrived really early. It just arrived, and people are introducing themselves. Okay, to that medium, right? So first time photo shoots, people little bit scared and shy and nervous. Okay, that's where the sense of that kind of a negative emotion creeping in. Okay, and what I'm saying negative emotion is this because you see, like I say, there are three categories of men. The first men would do it for themselves. Okay, for their experience, for their knowledge, to get hot, sexy pictures, to get the confidence boost for themselves, right? The second man would do it for money. Okay, people who shooting for escort or for modeling, they want pictures for money. They want to make money and become famous. Okay, so they're doing it for that. So the first person who would do a photo shoot will have a totally different experience than the second one, because when you're shooting for money, right, you need money shots. You need the shots that sell, okay, and speak to your audience, okay, and then you need the post-production and a certain arrangements, okay, at the end, right? And so we will be striving to shoot the best shots, okay, in that way, in terms of the marketing, okay, and in terms of the adult industry. And that's going to be a totally different, photo shoot than shooting for your own development and pleasure, right? And the last category for men, okay, it happened to me many times, and I did not work with many in this category because I reject majority. I say they need to go and see psychologists first, okay, and then doing erotic photo shoot is people who are traumatized, okay, people who had a trauma in the past, in the childhood, whatever, no matter what happened to them, what kind of an experience happened, not necessarily even violent experience. Sometimes children have trauma because they feel rejection, parents too busy and stuff, right? As a woman, okay, woman has as well traumatic experience and certain behavior during the photo shoot and before the photo shoot. Men have the same. Okay, so how I recognize a traumatic personality? Okay, first of all, men write me enormous emails. Okay, they write me huge essays I can't even read. when I open the email and they put all this story about erotic fantasies or what happened to them, I already know that this is a traumatic case, okay, and the person would like to solve their traumatic past, you know, how to say, associations during erotic photo shoot. And erotica in general, it is a repair mechanism. Okay, so people who had erotic fantasies, that's why they're having it in a certain way. Sometimes they are surprised why they're having these fantasies. Maybe I'm not that violent, or maybe I'm not that brutal, or maybe there's something, but they have a certain fantasies which it might surprise them. Okay, the fantasy, erotic fantasy, it's your mental state fixing it itself, repairing. Okay, that's what that is. So traumatic experiences in the past defined this way: the person is nervous, scared, terrified to do an erotic photo shoot. Okay, because it involves revealing themselves, it's involved undressing, it's involved, you know, showing their body, showing their private parts. Okay, it's involved performance, it's involved being on the stage, it's involved you, how to say, there is no one else to hide behind, you are by yourself. Okay, so they're scared of everything, right? The men who are terrified, they want to explain something to me, they want, you know, put their you know, the longest stories into my ears. I am staying away. Okay, and I say you need to go to see psychologist first when you digest your traumatic experience, and you can write me a short letter exactly what you want from the photo shoot. Then I can take you. Okay, so there are, like I say, three categories of men, right? The first category I really love to work with, because men come for their own experience, for their own pleasure, for their own growth, for their own development. Okay, we can joke, we can experiment, we can push the limits, we can try many things. We shoot a range of photography, starting from the portrait, okay, and then going into more sexual, okay, more nude, right? So that's what we do, right, for men. And then, like I said, there are models. They shoot a slightly different photography, because they are selling their content. Okay, selling their content or selling themselves. Okay, doesn't matter, but they shoot slightly different content, and like I say, in a post production, it's a different outcome, right? And the third category of men, again, I'm saying people who are absolutely nervous. Okay, nervous, and they need therapy. Okay, and they are going to erotic photo shoot because they think it will help them, and it will. Okay, it will, but how to say, what is the price? Okay, what is the price? You know, when I work with the ladies with the traumatic experience, I'm getting very much exhausted. Okay, it drains my energy down, right? And like I say, I can identify very easy a person who is damaged, traumatized. Okay, they are scared, they are shy, they are embarrassed, they are nervous, and they are freaking out. Okay, they are not adequate to the reaction is not normal. Okay, in general, right? Erotic photo shoot has to be a very peaceful and very how to say, sensual, seductive environment. There is nothing drastic happening, right? Nothing drastic happening, so there is nothing to be scared of, right? But when people are in general feel that this is a very terrifying experience, they can imagine a lot of things. Okay, and they already can come shaking, shaking, and think that something is wrong will happen, you know? So that's the thing. So people are doing it for many reasons. And last category, like I say, they do it for their own therapy. Yeah, and that therapy, you see, it goes into different stages, right? There is just a part that you do not accept yourself. Okay, you do not like yourself, you think that you are not photogenic. Okay, no matter what you would do, to be fair, as a photographer. It's just a program in their heads that's showing a certain image. Okay, I had this guy from Instagram. Okay, and he was very handsome young man, absolutely handsome young man, Insta boy. I would call them Insta boy. And we had a shoot with him, and he was very strange. He said, "I just need one picture." I said, "Well, we will get a variety of everything, the range of everything, and then you will choose one." Like he would need one picture. So that's what I did. Okay, that's what I did. And then he asked, can we just have a look for that picture? And I said, okay. And we went straight away after the shoot, went into post-production mode and opened the file, and I looked at the images with him. Okay. And that's what I witnessed when the person is ill and cannot see anything. Okay. The way he talked to himself, the way he called himself, what he was looking and what he was seeing, it was just day and night. I am looking at a hot, sexy man. It is very hard to miss. Yes, and not to make hot and sexy pictures when the guy is sexy. Okay, and he was confident. But the way he's seeing himself is only negative things, and only what is wrong with him. So in this, okay, the whole picture is not good, but there is something he doesn't like about himself. That's it. This is the wrong picture. And then he decided that at the end he would take maybe like 50 images, and from that 50 images he would select a small part of it. He likes the smile, he likes the hand gesture, he likes the six packs in there, he likes this erection in that picture, he likes the shoulders in that picture, he liked his head tilt in that picture. It was so crazy when I looked at that and thinking, oh my gosh, that's an absolutely case for therapy in front of me, because this is not what I look at, right? And in the Photoshop, maybe it will be possible to make that perfect picture the way he wanted from the old pictures, to take a small part, but realistically we would be shooting for that picture maybe 2 or 3 days. Okay, that's the realistic, that's the craziness of the idea. Okay, to be absolutely the whole, every body part should be the way he imagined and already seen in the pictures. And that's how was that perfect picture in his head built from the puzzles. And so he's seen himself in many pictures, and in every picture he would select the increment that he would like, and then he would want to create that perfect picture of himself. That's what I'm saying about ill minds. Okay, they have a broken image of themselves, they're looking at themselves and they see something else. It's not what I see, it's a different information. And what that means is there is a program in the head, okay, that's blocking the sight. Okay, it's the same with, because you see, when we look, when we watch, okay, we think that we look with our eyes, but in reality we look with our brain, because the brain accepts all the information. Okay, and all our vision, right, it accepts the impulses, and we see with our eyes, but the program runs in our brain, and it's how to say, and it's working on the information what person would see, right? So that is why on the photo shoot images I would see a hot and sexy guy almost in every picture. Okay, he would nail for me, and for him it was completely opposite, right? So people do not see themselves in the right way. Okay, people emotionally do not feel good, people physically do not feel good. I mean, like they are too fat, or something wrong with a certain body parts, and sometimes there is. Okay, and for men specifically, I would like to identify intimate body parts, okay? Because they worry about their weight, okay? But they even more worry about their erection and performance, okay? They paranoid and obsessed about that, okay? And even the most confident minds who would say, yes, I would like to do an erection photo shoot and maybe even come shot, they're not coming at the end. And they cannot control their body. The mind, okay, saying, yes, I would like to do it, but the body is saying no. You know what I'm saying, right? So that's why erotic photography and erotic photo shoots, okay, it is popular because that's when you recognize yourself. That's where you see yourself. That's where the programming coming out. And what I'm saying, programming, is everyone is programmed in a different place, right? And I'm talking literally in a different place. But if you would think about it, we kind of programmed in a similar place because we kind of have similar parents, right? We were, how to say, imprinted a certain things, certain taboos, what is allowed, what is not allowed, what is shameful, what is, not nice, not good. And that's how we grow up, you see? And that's what we bring in our intimate life and in our personal life. That's why the wives become boring because they scared, to do anything or to experiment or to show something or to express themselves or to do something. So it's how to say, it's the same with men. That programming is for men and for women, yeah, for children. And then we grow up with the certain programs, right? And these programs are playing till you die, unless you change them, right? Unless you re-edit. So erotic photo shoot in general, it's like, for me, it's re-editing, reboosting, reprogramming yourself. The reason why I'm saying this is because when you're sitting in an office and talking about therapy things, right, with the shrink psychologist, you are not in the action and those programs are not active. And when the programs are not active, you cannot define them, recognize them. It is easy for me to see the program when the person is nervous or the person being stiff or the person is freaking out or he doesn't have an erection, or so I can see that this program is playing right now. And then we are trying to get out of that situation and do something about it in the real life, in the real action. That's when the re-editing of the program is happening. When you're talking about this with psychologists, nothing is happening. That's why you see couples therapy is not so effective. Have you noticed? Not effective. But I will speak about couples in my next video. This video is about men. Okay, men doing erotic photo shoot and men doing erotic photography, from portraits to undressing, right? Practicing undressing, practicing looking sexy, okay? Practicing being in front of the camera, okay? Doing stuff what I say, right? To do in front of the camera and in front of me, of course, right? And doing a lot of, like I say, actions, because just sitting in there and doing nothing, it's not sexy. Yeah, so I would need to put them into certain positions and create certain compositions. And I can tell you what I like about men, that they are, they are determined. Even very mature men. I don't know, oldest maybe I shot 70 plus. And he was jumping, sitting down, up, down, everything what I said for 2 hours. I was surprised, I was surprised. Okay, so they put their all, and that's why I like to work with men. Okay, because that photo shoot that we create, it's first, I would say, it's really freestyle. Okay, because we experiment and then we push the limits, we can create a lot, right? So they're not getting tired, they are committed. When they come to erotic photo shoot, they are committed. Okay, and that's what I like about men. And they are quite easy to work with because they are not obsessed or paranoid about the wrinkle there, or the wrinkle there, or that kind of a thing. So men, it's the public that, for me, it's easy to work with. when we have a therapy case, right? When the person is, like I say, has a negative vibration, what that means, a therapy case. Okay, when you are embarrassed, when you are shy, when you are nervous, you cannot be in your confident zone. That's a therapy case. You can't be confident and shy and embarrassed at the same time. Confidence is a positive vibration. Confidence leading to sexy vibe, energy. Okay, confidence is when you're on your on the horse, no, on the stage. Okay, on the stage in your element. Okay, everyone thinks you are sexy, and you are with your pants on. Okay, that's the confidence, right? You can't be shy. Okay, talking shy, talking awkward, being all embarrassed and confident. You can't. Okay, this is a negative vibration. So that's something you need to understand. If you are in negative vibration, you can't create sexy pictures because you are not there. It's not possible for you. Okay, so what the photographer has to do to create sexy pictures, and now we're talking about the photographer, like this is photographer's job, to put that sexiness into that person who is scared and nervous to undress. Okay, that's what I'm saying. It is a therapy case, right? But I can do it because I have a medical degrees. That's why I can work with them. But there are, how to say, there are more serious cases who need the classical, not the instant transformation, but classical psychology. Okay, people who writing me very long emails with their life stories and stuff, I don't read them. Okay, I don't have time. Okay, and you need to pay someone to read those emails, and there are professionals out there. Okay, but erotic photo shoot can help a lot of people with traumatic experiences in the past. It can transform them instantly. Okay, it can put them from awkward, unconfident state into a sexy mode. It can. Okay, that's why we use erotic photography, and that's why we want to have those hot and sexy shots to remember that I can be that guy. Okay, I can be that person. And why you need it right now? Because 10 years later you will be looking back. Okay, that's why people are doing it now, right? So then later when they get older and more mature, they will have something to look at. This is not a ladies video, but I can tell you, very recently this one lady contacted me. Long time ago she did a photo shoot and she did an album, and somewhere in archives I had her session. And I remember it was more than 10 years ago. I remember I was doing the album, and there was, when you do the album, the book, right? There are sometimes images when you lay out and there is like the page is empty, right? And I add some images from my own perspective, which one I would add to her album. And I remember that she commented, "Oh, I don't like those pictures and stuff." Imagine now after 10 years, she likes them all. Okay. No, seriously, some people aging that much, that's something what she's created 10 years ago. Now it's amazing for her. Now she bought a flat in London, and now she wants these pictures, beautiful big pictures, printed out as a large prints. Okay, and that's why she contacted. So that's what I'm saying. Time is going, and something you don't like about yourself now, you will do a erotic photo shoot, you would love it and appreciate. Okay, in 10 years time. So that's why you would do it, to remember yourself, how hot and sexy you was. Okay, let me just quickly say hello. Today's live is about erotic photo shoot for men, and because my category my channel filled with the category of men. Okay, that's why you can ask questions in here, right? Hi, hello. Me love you long time. Okay, I've been long time in here. Seriously, I'm so inconsistent with these lives. Okay, let's do our own photo shoot. What that is, our own photo shoot. Okay, what that is, I actually I had this question and I wanted to bring this up, okay? Because men usually ask me this question: do I get turned on during the photo shoot or taking erotic pictures? Okay, this is a very popular question. And it comes not only from men, but it comes from couples too. Okay, so for men now, because I'm doing a men video, I can tell honestly, okay, what's happening. So usually I am neutral during the photo shoot. I have my sexual energy switched off completely, not to initiate anything. Okay, and when the man is with me in the studio, he knows that. Okay, there is no, there is nothing. I am so professional. I am in this business 20 years. Okay, and I worked with a lot of, adult models. So, I can tell you, I know how to do it. Right. So, one thing. The second thing is they must understand that being turned on, okay, it's a state, it's a vibration, it's an energy. And if you are honest with yourself, right, and I am honest with myself, I can tell you I am turned on when I am having my eyes closed. Mm, you know, then I'm seriously turned on because I don't see anything. Now when I ask myself, can I create an art photography for someone else in this condition, the answer is no. It's just, how to say, I'm being honest, right? So it is from the place where it's basically impossible, okay? But Julia likes the challenge, okay? And saying impossible, maybe one day someone will offer me some kind of a very interesting, you know, uh, reward for making this happen, and maybe I will figure it out how, okay, to do it. But that has to be like a crazy number, okay, so that I would know I'm doing it, for money. That's why, okay, otherwise I would not even bother, okay. So I'm never mixing my sexuality when there is a man in the studio, okay, and I never switch it on. Okay, the only time when I switch it on when they are confused with their sexuality. Okay, and you know who I switch on? I will switch on my masculine energy, and I will show them how the man would look, and then they absolutely shocked. I should make this video recording because I can walk like a man and I can talk like a man. I can move. Seriously, I could show them how to pose. I go into this, masculine stage, right? Because men, not only women are confused about their sexuality. How is it sexy? What I should do? How I should undress sexy and so on, right? But the men as well are confused. I remember there was one guy, and I said, let's take a very nice portrait when you taking your shirt off. And it was, I don't know, million attempts we tried, and I was just already tired of taking that picture. I was regretting that I suggested, but the way he was undressing, it wasn't just sexy, and when it's not sexy, it's not sexy. And then I said to him, you must come back. You go home, you practice this. Practice this in front of the mirror, okay? And come back when you're ready. Because we think that, that everything is fine, but as soon as the camera is there and as soon as you need to undress, okay, people change. Like I say, people change because the programs which they been recorded with, they come out, okay. I can see when they come out because when they performing, their eyes suddenly just move somewhere and they think of something, okay. I could just see it in their eyes, they just rethink of something, I could see how the thought is catching, so these programs are constantly attacking you because sexual experience for a lot of people feels and looks dangerous, okay, something what is not allowed, something is what is taboo, right? But when we shoot erotic photography, and I shoot most of the time mature people, right, It is already time to get rid of those programs, right? We are going to die soon. Yeah. So that's why we should be free. Should be free. Okay, let me just check again. Thumb in or out. I don't know what that is. 360. Let's. Okay. Okay, you're annoying. Leave. I love big ladies. How is that related to men photography? Is the Insta. I don't know, my Instagram was blocked, so I have a new account. Let me just quickly say you are amazing, absolutely stunning. People have a different opinions. Good. So let me just continue with erotic photo shoot for men. Okay, so I've already mentioned 3 categories. Men usually when they are mentally stable, okay, and everything is fine with them, they are excited. Okay, they're excited, they're planning this, they are preparing for it, they ask questions, they cannot wait. Okay, they feel normal, they feel okay. Okay, the moment when I know that people are not okay, when they are nervous. Yeah, the nervous, that's when the programs come out. Yeah, nervous, scared, shy, embarrassed, worry about how they look, and so on, and everything then kicks in. I am not photogenic. Oh, it will be very hard for you to take a good picture, and so on and so on, that kind of a thing. So that people had a traumatic experience, and they need therapy. Okay, that's where that is, right? And the therapy lies somewhere where it's very scary. Okay, very scary, and everyone has their own maybe boundaries. Okay, but usually nude photography, erection photography, it helps. Okay, I'm not going straight away into cum shots, but erection is already good. Okay, you would process a lot of information during that shoot. Okay, not only that you would have a great shot if the erection would happen, right? But also you would have a shot where you are thinking of certain things that the program is running, so you would identify yourself with a certain program as well. Okay, and then you can evaluate your erection levels. Okay, in terms of the program, because you see, when the program is running, the program is on, it wired energetically. Okay, and when you connect it with your photographer is aware as well about what is happening and how everything is happening with you, right? So that's what you do. You would create a certain analysis for yourself, right? And then the therapy consists of you looking at the pictures, of your pictures, and understanding why you like yourself, why you dislike yourself. Okay, and even you are able to remember during the shoot, okay, what you was thinking of, or what you was thinking about in this particular moment when you would look at yourself in the image. And you will be able to remember it even if you look 20 years later. Imagine how powerful it is, what I make. Yeah? So that's why I am very much fascinated about coding people and using photography and interacting with their brain, you know? Interacting with their brain, because it's very, you see, it's very easy to take a picture of what it is inside of you. Okay, it is easy because people are freak out in a different manipulation and a different actions. The moment you can reach out the program, when you ask for a certain action, okay, then they will do it, or they will say, oh, I can't do this, or they will try to do it and they would fail by doing it. You see, there are many things I would ask people to do during the photo shoot to extract these programs out of their system, right? In one way, clearing them out, okay? Because You see, when we overcome or we shoot something in a different way and we get a certain result, we can re-edit, reprogram the brain, right? And the person who was maybe not so confident about themselves or about their size, okay, will change their opinion about how they look, how they feel, okay, how big they are, or how perfect they are, that kind of a thing, okay. And this is possible to do it in one photo shoot. In one photo shoot, it's not like possible, but this is my goal, because I would use that transformation. And what is the transformation is there for? Okay, at the beginning there are images which are reflecting how you came, with who you came, with what baggage you came, okay, and that image reflects not only a physical state, but of course your emotional state, right? Mental state. And then after a photo shoot, 1 or 2 hours later, right, we have a totally different result. Everything is recorded. After a lot of action that you did during the photo shoot that Julie asked you to do, okay? And every person you see is different, so I'm asking them to do a totally different things, okay? Maybe the first person I would ask them to undress, and maybe the second person I would ask them to dress more, even to put more layers, and then put maybe a hat on, and something on, more distraction, and then give a stick in the hand, and say, like, now do it something, or so on. So yes, so we use a lot of props here, okay, and we change a lot, right, depending on people. But there are people who love to be naked, okay. There are people who love to be naked, and these options, when they arrive to the studio, they want to get ready straight away. Can I do the push-ups to pump my body a little bit? And they already naked somewhere, exercising, preparing for a shoot, okay, that kind of a thing. There are people, in a different state, different colors, okay, different conditions, I would say, right? But for me, these three are the main ones, okay, for men category, right? And like I say, we shoot till we succeed. That's what is the main thing for me, that people have to be energetically there. You can't create sexy image. I already explained this in this video. If you are in a negative vibration, okay, it's not possible. If you at least little bit awkward or shy, it's not gonna be sexy. So that's what we do. First we learn to go into that state, okay, to feel that we are in that state. Then they need to convince me, okay, that they're there, and they are trying really hard, okay? They're trying really hard. That's what I like about men, Men, they will try this way, that way, till the result will happen and I will be happy, okay? So that's why I really like working with men, okay? So that's the thing. Okay, where are you from? I am from Lithuania. Originally, I am from Lithuania. Okay. You should engage with your audience. This is my channel. I do what I would want to do. Okay. You are talking. Who are you talking to? Well, I am talking to my clients who will see this video later. Okay. Because this video is going to be recorded, right? And that's why we need it. Okay, let me just quickly go and check. Amazing. Yeah. Okay, thank you so much for your attention. I think I've discussed. I will maybe add the last thing about editing and post-production for men, erotic photography, right? So I would prefer to keep things natural, right? And just add little bit, seriously, very light editing for people who doing it for their own experience, right? For their own experience, for people who are doing it for work, for job, for business models, they would have a post-production in a different way arranged, okay, depending on what they need, what kind of the products they need. Yes, but the editing most of the time happens more heavier. With the ladies, even very heavy sometimes, right? So editing and post-production, it's another service and it takes time. Okay, so when you do a photo shoot, you create raw images. And those images then have to go through editing and post-production, you know, to be able, you will be able to use them later, right? So for men, it's a very standard, right? It's the very standard touch-ups. For men, it's not so complicated than for women, but like I say, if it's a business site, if they're going for escort, and if they go for, for model portfolios when they make money or sell imagery, then we will do some editing, right? But that's all discussed before that. Okay, so we can just discuss that. Nothing special about that. Okay, thank you so much for now. And I am done with men erotic photography. Okay, and the next video is going to be about couples. Okay, couples. Thank you so much and bye. Bye here as well. Okay, and I am leaving. Thank you for watching.